Die Stunde der Wahrheit ist gekommen. Wer hat Chihiro umgebracht? Wer ist Genocide Jack? Das werden wir, ich, Daniel und Noah herausfinden. Und damit willkommen zurück zu dem 12. Part von Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc mit mir und Noah. Noah?
Ja?
Du musst Hallo sagen.
Hallo?
Ja. Jetzt ist es Zeit für die nächste Klassenverhandlung bzw. Gerichtsverhandlung, wo wir den nächsten Mörder enthüllen. So is everyone ready to... What? We're blind or are we missing someone?
Yo.
Ja, Toko ist not here. Ja, das wundert uns nicht, denn Toko ist nämlich seit Chihiros Tod verrückt geworden. And Toko is... You really don't remember?
Come on!
Kidding, I'm just kidding. How could I forget that little nut job? She's a crucial part of the class trial this time.
What are you gonna
Okay,
do?
okay. I go ahead and drag her out here, kicking and screaming. Just one moment, please. Oh, das kann nicht gut gehen. And just like he said, a few minutes later, he reappeared, dragging Toko behind him. I told him I didn't want to, but he forced me. I can't believe you would drag a girl around. Terrible. You're terrible. Phew. So now everyone's here, right? Okay, then hustle onto the elevator and let's get this show on the road. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
So shall we get going? It's time to find out who killed Chihiro. Chihiro Fujisaki. She was so gentle, so calm and meek. Nobody had any problems with her. So who made the choice to kill a girl like that? Yeah. And that murderer is one of us. Und der Mörder ist auch gleich der besagte Genocide Jack, von dem die ganze Welt herumspricht.
Ja.
Someone standing right here. Würde ich sagen, lassen wir es beginnen. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
It's true.
Yes. I gave a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked toward the elevator on shaky legs. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. I couldn't stop speculating. The steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. The elevator was unaffected, however, and continued to descend without hesitation, until finally it came to a sudden stop. What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting? Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Very
Good. You're raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
well.
Okay then, let's get the show on the road.
Thrills, chills, kills.
Everyone, please find your assigned seats. And so, the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment. A deadly deception. A deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle. A deadly defense. A deadly faith. A deadly class trial. Ah ja, speichern wir. Kann ich schon. So, Set Skills. Dann werden wir von Chihiro das Skill Algorithm gekriegt. Increase the speed of memorizing a statement. Effective during the non-stop debate. Okay, das heißt, die Statements bleiben länger im Screen. Kostet 2 SP. Ah! Wow. Schön, dass es jetzt erst was, dass man das so sitzen kann. Danke. Aber, ja. Na gut. Besser, wir wissen es jetzt als gar nicht. So, die Handbook sind wir halt nur ganze Sachen. Ich würde sagen, starten wir.
Ja.
So.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only then I'll punish everyone besides. Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon.
First we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. Ja gut, das ist natürlich klar, was das war. Das war die Hantel. Locker Room Dumbbell.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Warte mal.
It appears it was a head wound.
Ja, aber ich mag wechseln. Na? Ich wechsel. Was?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Na? Wie wechselt die den scheiß Nummer? Ah. Warte mal.
Poor Chihiro.
So, da. Maßrad war das. Okay, passt.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Ja,
It appears it was a head wound.
das stimmt.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
Oh. You think you have some proof that contracted all this? Warte mal. Oder hab ich da irgendwas übersehen?
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Mal schauen wir sich das nochmal an.
It appears it was a head wound.
Ja, das stimmt.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Na, das stimmt nicht. Fuck daneben.
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Poor Chihiro.
Okay. Aber jetzt wissen wir es zumindest.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Aber das ist jetzt
It
schwacher zum
appears it
Treffen.
was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting.
Was?
That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Poor Chihiro.
Was war das jetzt?
Chihiro's fatal injury.
Boah.
It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
So, jetzt haben wir's.
No, that's wrong.
Es hat lang gedauert.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell, found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yay! That's so creepy!
Ich persönlich würde es jetzt nicht so schlimm empfinden. Bitte da jetzt nicht so komplett ausflippen wegen sowas. Na gut, ich habe so nie ein Leichen gesehen, aber in meinen Vorstellungen kommt mir es nicht so schlimm vor. Oder nur?
Naja,
Was
das
denn?
ist eine Ansichtssache. Vor allem wie hoch oder beziehungsweise wie niedrig die geistige Stabilität ist.
Ja. Alter, vor meiner Balkontür siehst einfach mehr Kotz da, also dahinter und mich hat eine. Aber ich will es nicht reinlassen.
If you
Und
don't
nervt.
mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to
Okay.
discussion of the culprit.
Kann lustig werden.
Although,
Ja,
I
so
believe the
könnte.
criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack is the Finnish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? A new element has been added to the non-stop debates. Ja? Was war das? For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. Okay, your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines. So think of them, okay. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time level will decrease. So take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. Na gut, wenn es auf das Schwierigste sitzt, also kein Problem. In which case you can forget about the silencer and ja. Well then, good luck and have fun. White noise. Okay. Und ihr würdet jetzt auf Genocide...
The culprit is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Hey, so,
Okay.
speaking of Genocide Jack, I don't know who that is!
Evidence, ja.
The culprit is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, gut.
But that's impossible!
Also
Why?
durch das kann
What
ich
makes it impossible?
Zeit dazu
I
gewinnen,
mean-
okay.
Come on! There's just no proof for it.
So, da.
No, that's wrong.
Ja, ist auch eine coole Mechanik.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library.
Ah, du hast es gefunden? Nicht Byakuya.
I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
I? Ja, natürlich. Und zwar,
I got it!
wie das Opfer...
Apparently, in every
Positioniert
Genocide
worden ist.
Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way.
Yep.
So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Oder du, weil du es auch vor dem warst.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Okay.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle? Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
Also habe ich doch recht gehabt mit dem gesplittete Personalität und Blutseng und nicht Blutseng China. Ja. It does seem like a riddle in a way, but I feel like I can just about to see. Genocide Jack is Toko, but isn't Toko. What does it mean? Oh, Hangman. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, S war das erste, okay. Doch, das nächste ist ein C auf jeden Fall. Vielleicht? No. Shits. Shizu.
Now I understand. Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Und das heißt Shizu, oder wie?
Huh?
Das sind aber keine Schizophrenen, oder? Oder?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
The one thing that shows Toko could have a split personality has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed.
I got it!
Ihr
You're
Verhältnisse kommen
talking about
geändert.
how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
Ja.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm.
Ja, das
In
stimmt.
other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
Habe doch recht gehabt.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story.
Okay.
She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale. Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that. But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing. Could you?
Alter, das ist irgendwie voll... Irgendwie... Das geht irgendwie gerade voll deep, Annie. Die
Ja.
Story. Das ist irgendwie wenig...
Ja, wir wissen aber nicht nochmal, ob der wahr ist.
Aber das hört sich alles jetzt ziemlich richtig an. Und das war bis jetzt ziemlich wenig, sagen wir so,
Ja,
Spiel drin,
stimmt.
also Challenge.
Das
hey.
Problem dabei ist nur, dass wir nicht wissen, ob das wirklich stimmt.
Ja, aber es ist ziemlich wahrscheinlich. Der gesplittete Personalität. Und durch das, dass er halt ohnmächtig geworden ist und halt jetzt und danach halt Blutsenkinder hat. So. Und also das, was halt da beide sagen, das mit dem Promise und so, also das Versprechen. Anscheinend stimmt das alles.
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Jetzt auf einmal.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person? You don't mean...
Togo's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, but in the next second... Oh, du Scheiße.
There! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Holy shit.
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
Der war's wohl.
Holy shit.
That's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Ja.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This is the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack. This is beyond the insane.
Okay.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Na gut, das stimmt.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. Ja, mach mir jetzt auch irgendwie groß Sorgen. Ich bin das Gefühl, es kommt diese komplette Wende in der Geschichte, so dass es halt doch irgendwie anders war. What she said, I need to get some more details about all of this. Ah, endlich können wir weiterspielen. Okay, now we just slam status of the date. That body disappearing stain. Okay, schauen wir uns erstmal an.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
Okay. Also ich glaube, das letzte ist irgendwas, mit dem wir es machen müssen, aber wenn ich es nicht ganz verstanden habe.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
Schauen wir mal. Na.
Shoot.
Oh, scheiße.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
Okay. Mo, hast du irgendwelche Ideen?
Nein, ich bin auch genauso ratlos wie du.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi.
Oh, was? Ich hab mich verdruckt. Scheiße.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
Als ob das war. Okay. Das...
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one. I got it! For one, the cause of death is different.
Okay.
In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way.
Mit Scheren.
According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference is related to how she was suspended. Was genutzt worden ist. Was war ein Kabel?
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
Ja, und normalerweise war es mit Scheren.
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's 2 differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it. I think I figured it out. Because Chihiro ein Mädchen war. Denn sonst, das war bis jetzt nicht der Männer, die umgebracht worden sind.
I got it! Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Ken Harada, Tetsuhiro Honda, Shoshi Gaku, Kano Ise, Takeshi Yoshida, Komatsuna Taro, Takefume Gono, Uchida Nahoya, Takeshi Masamue, Yuto Yumechima, der was Noen tötet.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
That does make some amount of sense.
Ja.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class, envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
She's fully equipped!
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you, gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot! So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Ja, aber wer von uns ist ja in der higher position? Natürlich ist es... Also nur du weißt es auch, wer das ist, oder?
Ja.
Da.
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you've already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then, the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Naja, ich meine,
Looking back and thinking about it now.
Er war ja so aufdringlich, dass wir ihn beim Untersuchen helfen.
The way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms. They're suspicious. Very suspicious, indeed. Will you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There's a clear contradiction in what Byakuya just said. We'll make it clear to everyone. A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Oh, scheiße. Ich hab grad Nachricht gekriegt. Okay, irgendwas Politisches war das. Next we're going to add something called True Flashback. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button, then you'll memorize that weak spot. This memorized phrase can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction when you load the truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make your case. When it's the best time to flashback, well, you just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well then, good luck and have fun. Okay, Flashbacks gibt's jetzt. Und dann kommen wir auf Fall Nummer 2.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the
Okay, das
body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found
Okay,
the
na,
body.
das war frisch.
Shoot!
Okay.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Ja.
But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check
Na,
out
na,
the
na.
girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
Es war ja nicht klar, dass
The
Chihiro gestorben
victim
ist.
was Chihiro, who was a girl.
Ja, warte. Ups. Entschuldigung.
shoot!
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
Warte
If you're
mal.
presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro,
Aber
who was a
Entschuldigung.
girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
Okay, Entschuldigung, liebe Leute, wir müssen wieder ein bisschen da einfinden mit dem Leichen.
said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If
So
you're
what is this?
presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room, you absolutely take it.
That's a natural reaction for any guy. The victim was Chihiro, who was a
Na?
girl.
Hey, was muss ich da jetzt genau machen?
Shoot.
Ich verstehe es ohne Scheiß nicht, was ich jetzt da machen
So,
soll.
you said Byakuya...
Weil mit Leertaste kann ich es verlangsamen. So. Silencer. Wow. Und so kann es...
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
That's a natural reaction for any guy. The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's
Okay.
so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Ich hab grad keine Ahnung. So, warte, einmal versuche ich es nur. Sonst...
Also,
So, you said Byakuya was acting
Aber
kind of weird
es,
before we
es
found
gibt ja
the
das
body.
Flashback-Dingsens da.
But he was
Ich
acting
muss ja
weird...
gedruckt halten irgendwie so.
how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it. That's a natural reaction for any guy. The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl.
Oh,
So
shit.
of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distraction.
what's so strange? I wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay, dann muss ich jetzt leider nachschauen. Wir sehen uns dann gleich wieder. Aber jetzt, wo mir so auffällt, können wir eigentlich den Part eigentlich beenden. Ich schaue nach und im nächsten Part geht's dann weiter.
okay, passt.
Dann tschüss.
Tschüss, Leute.